The dish I'm going to make today is boneless chicken thighs with bacon, Picholine olives. I guess that's the title. But we're going to have onions, peppers, garlic, sweet red wine, chicken stock. This is a basil paste. What you do is you fill up whatever size Cuisinart you have, pack tight with fresh basil, pour in a little oil, let it run, pack it in a plastic container, put it in the freezer. I haven't used this in like 3-4 months, so I just said, let me use some of my paste. Well, why not? It's there. And the chicken thighs, you can either flour them, but I'm not because I'm using tomato sauce, and most of the time if I use flour, it's helping me make a sauce, so we don't need the flour. If you like, you can put these between 2 pieces of saran wrap and pound them thinner. And we have 5 pieces here. I will eat 2, my wife will eat 2, giving us 1 extra piece. Or, if you have smaller people, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dinners. So let's get, this is everything that you need. This way you won't forget anything. Lay it all out and then just start to put it together. First thing, just open up the chicken thighs and go easy on the salt with this recipe. I like using the larger grind on the black pepper. Easy on the salt. Why? Those Picholine olives are salty, but if you must, but I still say go light. And everything is going into this skillet in one shot. Now I'm using virgin olive oil. If you want to use butter, I would suggest mixing it with the olive oil, that way it won't burn. But to even go further, if you want to have just all butter, take the butter, melt it, and skim off the clarified part. The milk stays to the bottom. And then you'll have olive oil, you'll have clarified butter that looks like this, that won't burn. But that's if you want to go that route. So you're at a moderate flame, season up all the chicken. Now we're going to start. Moderate flame. We're not looking to brown this chicken because it's going to be in a red sauce. It's going to shrink a lot. There goes the bacon, the onions. Peppers, and of course the garlic. And we can wait a little bit for the olives until everything is mixed nicely. I like to see the olives cold, but if you must, you can cut them in quarters, chop them up, whatever. I like to bite into one, get that nice saucy, salty, I should say, feel about it. And I didn't cook the bacon first and drain off the grease. I want the flavor in there. Those 2 pieces of bacon, if you cook them and you chop them up, you really won't get the flavor. At the point when it's time to turn over, at that point, I will put the wine, reduce a little, pour the stock. This won't take long. And what's nice to have this with, of course, it's red. so why not have pasta with it? It's slowed down a little. The moisture from the vegetables coming out, so we're going to raise it up. Not that I'm in a rush, but I want to hear that sizzling, nice cooking. And I'm not going to shut off the video. The time that it takes to cook this is it. And just as other chicken recipes I make, you don't want to overcook the chicken, but of course you don't want it pink inside. You still want it juicy. That's why choosing legs, if you do happen to overcook it a little, it can take the punishment. Whereas if you overcook a piece of chicken breast, you know what happens. And the basil will go in towards the end, so it keeps some of the green color. And the flavor is definitely going to go in, so it doesn't have to go in too soon. You know what smells good in this right now? The bacon. A lot of my recipes I try to go, you know, healthy, but sometimes I can't be selfish. I'm not cooking for me all the time. I have to cook for the public. And as I see my recipes and how popular some are, people aren't concerned about health when it comes to eating, you know, once in a while, a dish that's not nutritiously sound. Now we're going to turn these. And I'm going to increase, I did pour the wine into a measurer. So as I look at everything, the red wine is going to reduce. Now we're going to raise the flame even higher. I put the red wine, and as it's going in, you know what? That'll be gone in 2 seconds. So we're going to add another half a cup. And why am I using sweet red wine? For the taste. Very high flame. Now the wine is going to penetrate. I'm going to let this reduce before I put any other liquid in there. Actually, I'm going to shut the film off now. This is going to take a couple of minutes. I'm going to turn the film on. You'll see it's almost dry in there. Well, that's been about 10 minutes. And the chicken is still like soft. You know it's not cooked yet. Were you paying attention to how many pieces I had in there when I put the wine? I bet you weren't. And either was I. There were only 4. What happened to the 5th piece? That was the piece that I first seasoned, put it on a plate and set it off to the side. Duh. Okay. That has reduced enough. Let's put the tomato. And I'm going to use very little chicken stock, even though I put a cup. I'm not going to use a cup. And don't use cubes. Try to use fresh. If you don't have fresh, collagen happens to be a very good one for flavor. And don't buy the ones that say low sodium, because it's just like putting water, and that shows you how much salt is in these items. The salt makes everything taste good, even water. Picholine olives. And then you have a pot of water off to the side, ready to cook the pasta. Leave this high flame just like that, nice and hot. When this is all mixed together, see the thickness, and then we'll know if we're going to add some more chicken broth, stock, soup, call it whatever you will. Okay, so how do you know when the chicken's done? When you push on it, like, it's hard to see because of the sauce, but when you push on it, there's a lot of give, you know it's not cooked. If it's firm, that's not cooked either. When it's firm, it's done. Easy to cook the chicken without the bones, but like they say, everything with the bone tastes better. It's true. Fish, roast beef cooked on the bone. So what we don't want, if we're having it with pasta, is a real watery sauce. So what I'm going to do, I want to see more red, so I'm going to add the remainder. So you have plenty of sauce for the pasta. And what I like, quite often, I could discard the seafood, the chicken, anything that's cooked in the sauce, and just take the sauce and pour it all over the pasta, because that's where all the flavor is. The chicken that's here, just something to chew on, but the flavor is in the sauce. Not that the chicken didn't help flavoring the sauce. Oh, I like this better now. So that was 3 cups of tomato sauce. Don't use ragu or Aunt Millie's or anything. You can't, I like using half fresh plum tomatoes and half, like those are cans of Italian plum tomatoes. Now, we'll cut this down, let it simmer, and in about 10 minutes, I'm going to check it. At this point, even before I put the basil, it's been a few minutes since I shut the camera off. I taste it to tell me if I'm going to put any more salt and pepper in there, which I'm not. If it was me, I'm going to throw some sriracha hot chili sauce in there, but I'll do that later for myself. Consistency is nice. The pasta is going to taste great with this. Doesn't matter what kind of pasta it is. Now if I used regular red wine, a dry one, you would taste this, not as much, it's nice. And that was like 2 cups. Very pleasant flavor now. Now I have to just wait until it's finished cooking. Let's just take a piece out. I'm not going to cut it. Just going to look to see the firmness. Soon, because there's still a lot of play there. And it is a thick piece of, if you notice. So we'll let this simmer. Since I have the consistency I want in the sauce, I don't want it any thicker or thinner. We're not going to put a lid over it. This'll, and the flame, we'll leave it like that. But you know it's going to cook a little. It won't boil over. Everything is fine. We'll just finish it up like this. Let me take back what I said earlier, that I wasn't going to shut the camera off. But you know what? When the chicken is this thick, it takes absolutely, you can't be sitting here watching the chicken cook like for 25 minutes. So we'll take a piece out and let's just look at it like this. Press on the thickest part of it right there. Now since it's boneless, this is cooked. I'd say that's cooked too. So we'll just take a cut right into it, just to make sure. And then what you see is white meat. And what's nice, it's not dry and flaking apart. When you overcook it, that's what happens. So this is ready, and I'm going to eat just a little piece. Add the basil. That'll be my piece for later. Can't offer that to my wife. So now this is done a couple of hours before dinner. Shut it off, just leave it. Get the pasta going. And oh, that smells good. And remember, never wash pasta off after you cook it. That's why when you eat pasta out, all these places, they put the sauce right over it. When you get to the bottom of the plate, it's all watery. Why? Because they don't cook it fresh as they get the orders. But what they could do, when they heat it up in water, they could let it drain a little bit longer, so you wouldn't have that water in your plate. And this is all done. Should we look at a couple of pieces on the dinner plate? Why not? And you're going to have room. You'll need room on the plate for the pasta. One is certainly not enough for anyone that likes to eat a piece of chicken. We'll put very little sauce over it. Why? Because you're going to still have plenty of sauce on the plate with the pasta. I hope you enjoy this recipe.